we'll get going. So welcome to the party, ladies. We are really excited to have you for the 7-day transformation challenge. And a lot of people think that, oh, what can 7 days to accomplish? What will that accomplish? And quite honestly, all it does is take 1 day to start a change, and a change in a chain in the direction of forward trajectory for whatever goals that you have. A lot can happen in 7 days. We've seen it already in past challenges, and it's really fun to watch ladies just get going. And that's part of the biggest struggle sometimes, is just get moving in the right direction. And there is blips. It's not always linear, but it's the processes that you just keep moving in the right direction, and that's moving forward towards your goals. So welcome to the party. We're excited to have you tonight. As we get started here, if you'll just want to post in the chat, what has been keeping you from your best you? What is the biggest external factor that you have struggled with, that you feel that is keeping you from your best you? We'll just take a minute, and you can post it in the chat.
Yep.
That's a common one. Yep.
That is
I have the list for sure.
Yep.
Shay says, I hate gym and my child is my priority.
Shay, what do you hate about the gym? Just curious, in particular.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to work this thing. I hate everything about the gym. Everything. The people, the machines, it's intimidating, it stinks. I don't like anything about the gym.
You might need a new gym.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can get done in your living room, though.
Yep.
Right, ladies?
Yes.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? External factors that you feel like is keeping you from your best you?
Some other ones that are high on the list for in terms of common is family obligations. Shay, you mentioned obviously your baby, of course, but even spouses, or if you have a big family and just the time is a priority, is a struggle rather, not a priority, or lack of knowledge, not knowing what to do. So it's kind of, you bump up against that was one that Tay had actually brought up whenever we were brainstorming. And then past failures. Most commonly, this is not someone's first rodeo. This is not the first time someone has tried to reach some sort of fitness goal, tried to be healthy. Ironically, we're at the beginning of the year, so it's even more common now, but anytime throughout the year. I mean, we've been doing this for over a decade, and no matter when anyone comes to us, it's the same thing. They've usually tried a lot of things in the past, and so that past failure can kind of come up and make you feel like, you know, you're not ever going to be able to accomplish it. And so those are some other things that might be keeping you from your best you.
Yeah, for a lot of people too, it's lack of time. Kayla, we hear it's like, how am I going to fit this new thing in? And what we're all about is really beginning to implement and make these things not just as a one-off change, but just part of your overall lifestyle. And sometimes that is just implementing little habits along the way, and then building along on those.
Right.
Not expecting everything all at once, because that's when we get fatigued, mentally and physically fatigued. And we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight too when we talk about motivation. So right. Thanks for sharing. Really appreciate that, Shay. So the reason why you're here is, we're guessing, is that you want to make some changes, obviously. And what better way to start is just taking that first step forward, like I said in the first slide. what we're about is we want you all to stop dieting and start living. And what that means is really having how you eat and how you move become part of your lifestyle, rather than it being something that you do for a little while or for a particular event or that sort of thing, but that you gradually begin making changes that implement an overall lifestyle approach to health. And for some of us, this seems overwhelming because we try to think about everything all at once. Now, you're going to get a ton of tools in these next 7 days, but you get to pick how each one of those fits into your lifestyle and what that's going to look like moving forward. Number 2 is we want you to stop fighting and get mindful. And what we mean by that is exactly that. Just stop pushing up against the things that come up. We're bombarded with so much knowledge, that there's more things out there than we possibly can get our hands around. Am I doing the right thing? Jumping from diet to diet, battling with your own internal struggles. We try to address all of these things and help you get in touch with you and what your body needs and what your lifestyle needs to be your best you. And yes, that does involve nutritional choices. It does involve movement. It does involve your family and your work and every part of your life. But you will be better when you feel better about you. And that comes from feeding your body well and moving your body well and just being able to fully integrate emotionally, spiritually, physically, all realms into all of life. And third, we want you to value you and to recognize that no matter where you're at right now, whether you have 50 or 100 pounds to lose, whether you have 10, whether or not you feel depressed, whatever your state is right now, we want you to know that you're enough. You are more than what the scale says. You are more than what your pant size is. You're more than what you feel like when you look in the mirror. You are a whole person. And this journey, this 7-day journey, is just the beginning. And it's a start of you taking ownership and responsibility for the awesome person that you are. Whether or not you feel that on the outside or not, you are inherently that on the inside. So you are definitely enough. These are the 3 things that we at the OmniFit are absolutely all about. What we present, though, does get results if followed over and over again. We see it. So you guys have probably already seen us inside the Facebook group, but I'm Coach Jody V. I am a certified nutrition coach, and I also program exercise plans as well. Kayla Duncan is the owner of the OmniFit. She has awesome amount of experience. Kayla, how many years have you been at this?
Since 2002. So
long time.
February, I think, crosses over to, was that 16 years? Yeah, 16 years.
Wow.
So
That's great.
definitely the longest among the 3 of us, but we've been at this a while. Taylor, as well, is a certified nutrition coach and personal trainer, certified personal trainer as well. And we've all worked together for quite some time, both in coaching relationships and in business relationship together, as well as we all are past former figure competitors. Some of us still might be competing again in the future. So we've been at this for a while and have a lot of experience. But our passion is for all women who want to be in a better place, whatever that is, whether they're a competitor, whether or not they just want to lose a little weight, whether or not they just overall want to feel good about themselves, no matter where they're at. So we love you guys, and our passion truly is helping other women. So what we've done, we have proven success over the years. These are just a couple of photographs of hundreds that are in our data bank. But these ladies have implemented the programs or portions of the programs that we're going to be presenting in the 7-day challenge. Not these results didn't happen over 7 days, but they started with one day, and one day that built upon another day. So it is absolutely possible to see changes no matter where you're at. Don't be discouraged. There is no mountain that can't be climbed, and there are not any change that can't be made. So we walk ladies through these changes all the time. So we're going to talk a little bit about the challenge, and what we're going to focus on in the challenge is metabolism, helping you to learn how to work with your body, with where it's at, depending on what your history is related to past dieting history. Maybe you've just had a baby, lots of different things we will go over and talk about. A lot of those interactions will happen personally within our Facebook group. We're going to teach you how to eat and move to support your body, and we're going to get into motivation. Why do you want to do this? And we focus on not just what you want to look like in the mirror, but the right reasons for overall health and emotional welfare and well-being, betterment of your relationships. Just everything stems with how you feel about yourself. We get into mindset, where we talk about realigning and changing your self-talk. The messages, a lot of us don't realize the messages that we tell ourselves over and over and over again, and a lot of times that is part of the struggle that we have to find success long term, because we need to work on some of the messaging that we're telling ourselves. We work with you on the importance of mindfulness as well. Just getting fully present with whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's fixing a meal, eating a meal, exercising, whether you like the gym or not like the gym, finding ways that work for you to be totally present with whatever activity that you're involved in. And most importantly, these changes happen in community and with experienced coaches like we are. So we're excited about that. That's what we love about this challenge. This week, this is just going to be a quick overview of what's going to happen, what to expect. On day one, you're going to get the nutrition and exercise guides, which you should have already received today, being day one. There will be links to those in the Facebook group if you, for some reason, don't have them or have lost your email or whatever. On day two, we're going to get a little bit more in-depth teaching, a little video teaching on mindset coaching and accountability. Check in. You're going to have some questions to answer and let us know that you've done those. Day three, we're going to have a video teaching on protein. Normally, these videos are anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, so try to schedule a little bit of time to get them. We just power pack as much information as we can into each video for you. On day four, we're going to discuss fats. On day five, we'll talk about blood sugar and insulin, which really has to do with carbohydrates. So covering the three macronutrient groups, protein, fats, and carbs on day 3, 4, and 5. On day 6, we'll talk about common mistakes that people run into and pitfalls. And then on day 7, some really helpful hacks and tips on eating out and how to prevent rebound after the 7 days or any point in the future as you continue on. So internally, we have a couple of questions here about what do you bump up against internally. The first question was external. This one is internal. What are your greatest struggles? Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to speak, or go ahead and just post something in the chat window.
We'll just give you guys a chance to think about it, and then we'll also talk again kind of some common things, because I think the biggest thing is that a lot of times when we're a little bit more isolated, or we've been just dealing with some stuff that we are bumping up against, that we think we're the only ones, when in reality we all share these things. Even the three of us have either currently, or it's something that we've dealt with in the past. And so the idea is that by uncovering it, by saying it out loud, not only can we help you guys combat it, but we can provide you with some tools and some strategies that you can practice along the way, because the majority of the time this isn't new stuff. This isn't something that just kind of resurfaced overnight, you know.
Yep. Yeah. We all go through these things, like you said, currently or have. So, negative self-talk. Yeah, that's huge. What we're telling ourselves on a daily basis is going to be so huge, and it's if it's not out of love, that can stem a lot of things, and a lot of habits come from that as well. So
True. And what you focus on, you generally get more of. So if your self-talk is negative, it just perpetuates itself. So learning how to talk to yourself kindly and, as Taylor said, with love really is a big part of this journey. Some of the other things people have struggles with is, I hear a lot, is that time of the month. When that comes around, it's like everything can be going really, really well, and then boom, it feels like, everything's out of control. Yeah, Shay has cravings from old to bad habits, Oreos. I love it. We get a lot of Oreo discussion going on in the Facebook group.
I'm a golden Oreo fan, so they just come at our house.
Well, and they make it worse now that there's 8,000 different flavors instead of.
No, it's the golden double stuff. It's the only ones that I care about.
The double stuff. Sure.
Leave them on the shelf. Can't even handle myself.
Well, here's the other thing. One Oreo is not going to prevent success. And sometimes those strategically placed treats, you can still have them and yet be successful after a while. So we're all about real life too. Nobody said there would never be another Oreo in the future. So thank goodness. Yeah. One thing too, we'll talk about in a minute too, is lack of motivations, or just those general feelings of failure. We hear that a lot. Or just burnout and boredom, sick of eating a particular way, seems to come up an awful lot as well. So we try to address those things, and we can talk way more about that in the Facebook group. So
yes.
Yep.
So here's just the general overview of the week of what we're going to get. And one thing that's really different about this is right here is personalized coaching. You're going to have these daily training videos, lots of interaction within the Facebook group. And we want to remind you that you will have a personal coaching call with each of us at the end of the week if you so choose to. And we really look forward to that. We want to not only get to know you in the Facebook group, but those personal things that you want to share or want more assistance with, we're here for you. So Kayla's going to take over from here, and she's going to tell us what a challenge winner looks like and what that means. After all, this is a challenge. So we're about loading a ton of information on your plate that you'll be able to use not only during the 7 days, but moving forward. But this is a challenge, and it's a friendly challenge. So Kayla, take it off.
Yes. So what's different about this challenge in comparison to maybe all of the others that are going on at the beginning of the year, I'm sure if you've been on social media, you've seen them, is that it's not just physical. There obviously can and usually is physical change to anything that we're doing, but we understand that our bodies are coming from a place where you can't control the response. You can't control what your body is going to lose or gain or change. You can only control the variables that we've delivered to you, which is your nutrition and your movement and your mindset. And so we focus on those things. And what is really great is that we base the challenge winner off of basically participation. So submitting your photos and measurements are a requirement in order to be considered as one of the challenge members. So basically submitting the beginning, submitting the end, being active in the Facebook group, encouraging other people, just being present. And it's because we know that those actions, showing up and being there and just doing it, whether it's difficult or not, that is what always produces change. So since we know that the recipe for success are these things, we've based our challenge winners on the actions and not just the result. Because there's going to be a result. And that's what's really great is that our past challenge winners have been like, I cannot even believe how much I did change mentally and physically in just 7 days. but it was because they were focusing on the actions, which makes it fun because it's achievable. So you can feel like you actually did do something, you accomplished something. Each day has some action goals, so just check off those lists of action goals, comment on posts, encourage your peers. If you notice, especially a lot of people when they first join, they all introduce themselves and then they kind of disappear into the black wander. So pull them out, tag your girlfriends, tag and say like, hey girl, like I know it's Tuesday and I'm sure it's crazy and all this stuff. I don't know about different kids being on different breaks and when kids might go back to daycare, whatever, but just tagging those people and letting them know that they get that notification and that somebody way out there is thinking about them can go so far. And then the winner of the challenge actually gets a scholarship into our Transformation Blueprint program. So 100% free. You get to participate in kind of the meat and potatoes of really what this challenge is made up of. We took all the big bullets out and delivered them like a fire hose this week. And in the 7-day, in the Transformation Blueprint, it's an 8-week program, which we'll go into it later in the week, but you win a scholarship into it, which is really exciting. And we've had just phenomenal feedback from past challenge winners and then past Transformation Blueprint participants. And so that actually is a totally different program, different Facebook group, totally different thing, but that's the winnings, which is super exciting, Fun. Anything to add, guys, before we kind of move on to the takeaways? Did I cover that pretty good with the challenge winners?
I think so.
Yeah,
it's been fun watching them pass through the challenge. So
it is really, really cool. It's really cool because as the designers of this challenge, we're going, how do we participate in a challenge that still sticks to, our heart that we have for women, and that's what this challenge is, and it's amazing. So I get super excited and all like, hot and sweaty talking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so takeaways. The big things for this takeaway is, and for the 7 days, is that we want you guys to engage and interact, ask questions. You literally have 3 of us at your disposal for 7 days. And we'll be brutally honest when you ask a question that just physically cannot be answered, because that happens sometimes. But I think the adjustment of expectations can do a lot for you in the long run, even through the 7 days and after. So spend time with us. If we offer coaching calls, hop on those. They are limited, so it's first come, first serve. We've opened up our schedules, and we're kind of just stacking calls as people book themselves. And so those will be limited on Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, and then a little bit into next week. So you'll see those links, and you'll have to fill out the intake form. I can actually post the intake form link in the group chat, and you can schedule that way. It'll also be posted in the Facebook group for you. So where to go from here? This is just all of this, the 7-day challenge, the welcome party. This is all a launching pad. We understand that a lot of us need that like kick in the rear, to ignite the motivation. That's cool, but motivation is going to come and go. And so what's really important is that throughout the challenge, as you're surrounded by people that are looking for the same goals, that are working through the same challenges, all those kinds of things, that you use that resource of community. We want you to have some quick wins, and that's the way the challenge is designed, is that you will have quick wins. So like I mentioned with the challenge winners, when you just accomplish those small daily tasks, the little habits, you're going to be able to decipher, like, this is doable long term, this is something I'm doing because I want to win, and then we're going to figure it out later. We help you do all that, but that's going to result in massive change, and I think you're going to blow yourself out of the water. Like, you're going to just be so surprised. So as motivation tends to be really high at the beginning of the year, really high when you commit to a challenge, it will wane. You're going to have a bad day. You're going to lose sleep because your kids are crazy. You're going to fight with your spouse. Like, it's all going to happen, and you're going to bump up against those same things that we talked about earlier in the call of what are already challenges, even at your highest motivated state. We want to help you get past that. And so that is why we want to hop on a call with you, because that part can't be designed in a blanket challenge. That part, we need to just dig in, and we need to dig a little bit deeper, figure out what your whys are, and help get you there, because that's why we're doing this, is we want you to achieve your goals. So we want to respect your time. I know that we're a little bit over just by 8 minutes. So after this, we're going to connect on Facebook. We're going to be readily available all week long. As Jody had mentioned earlier, the trainings are going to pop out each morning. So make sure you hop on. It's also, you get a email notification just as a reminder, and let us know. Complete your intake form. I'll drop that in the chat as soon as I'm finished talking, and I'll put it in Facebook. It'll also come through your email one more time, because that is so, so important to tell us a little bit more about yourself. And that helps us because we'll be able to see that on the backside. So even when you're communicating in the Facebook group, we can look through your intake form and see, oh, this is what she's dealing with. Let me respond to her question through this filter. So that really helps us coach you better, because you're getting free coaching for a week. And that's crazy. That's a massive value. So yeah, so schedule your coaching call and you'll be golden.
Okay.
Yeah. Super exciting.
Yeah. So do you guys have any final questions? Anything that we didn't cover? If you have downloaded and reviewed your nutrition and training programs, do you have any questions about them, how to execute them, anything like that? I did do an overview screen share video that's on the delivery page. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out as well. I just kind of go through and let you know how the template works, some ways that you can customize it and still be on plan.
I have, I guess, 2 questions.
Okay.
The intake form thing that you were talking about, is that the one where we like submitted our measurements and stuff? Is that different?
That is a different one. So I will drop the link inside the group chat.
Okay.
Just so that you can see it. So it's from the intake form that then you'll be able to schedule your coaching call.
Got it. Okay. And then the second question I have, so I was looking through like all the nutrition stuff because, since I hate the gym so much, I think nutrition is more of a struggle for me right now than the actual working out part. So I was reading about the shakes and stuff, and I'm still breastfeeding Bailey. It's mostly just in the morning and at night, but I didn't know, is the protein shakes, is that going to affect my supply, or can I not do that while breastfeeding? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, we work with a lot of breastfeeding moms, pre and postnatal. So while they're pregnant and then after, breastfeeding up to even a year and a half. We've had several clients being breastfed, or not being breastfed. The client is not. No, totally fine. If you are sensitive to artificial sweeteners, or if it's something that you've been avoiding this whole time, then you can just choose a protein that is sweetened with stevia instead of sucralose. Okay. And I can post a link for you too. We use 2, most commonly, one from True Nutrition, which is my personal favorite. It's sweetened with stevia, and we have a discount code that you can use. And we'll recommend our favorite flavors and all that. We'll do that in the Facebook group in case somebody else has the same question.
Okay.
And then also the Dymatize ISO 100, which I think is listed inside the nutrition pack.
Yep.
Straight off Amazon, and it's sweetened with sucralose, which is just like Splenda.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you can always choose whole food protein options as well if you choose not to do the shakes. So it's okay.
Okay.
That's a great question though too. And so one thing I can think of too is a lot of women actually have been breastfeeding in our challenge too, and they actually had feedback of how their milk supply has been great all throughout the challenge. So we'll be looking forward to seeing how that is for you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I know that nutrition is, really important for breastfeeding, and I did good for the first probably 6 or 8 months. She's 15, almost 15 months now. But the last probably couple months, I've definitely slacked off on the nutrition.
I've been working with a postnatal mom now since Kayla, actually before she
before she delivered.
Probably since May, and she's been nursing, and it's amazing. You just, proper nutrition, just staying, well fed is just huge in supply and just how you feel overall. It's such an energy drain. So yeah, we're all about that. Good experience here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another question we had was, what was the alternative to the shakes? With that, you can actually just go for the whole food options if you are able to. Just prep a little extra protein in advance. So any protein that you want to choose, you can have them different for every meal. You can keep it more consistent if you want. If you want chicken for majority of your meals, you can go ahead and do that. If you want eggs for a couple meals, you can do that. So you could focus on the whole food options like egg whites, whole eggs, chicken. Choose from those protein options, and you don't have to do the shakes.
Yeah, like today I picked up a couple of pounds of lean ground turkey with some Mexican seasoning, and it was, it's perfect for the entire week.
Just to note, if you're plugging a whole food meal for a shake, only do a protein and a vegetable. Don't add a fat and a carbohydrate like you do to your other meals. So if you're using the template and you plug one of the shakes for whole food, just plug in a protein. You can add a veggie to it, chicken on a salad or whatever. And veggies aren't required. We like them to be in the other 3 meals, but if you're not someone who likes the vegetables, that's cool too. You can just have some egg whites or whatever. But yeah, just to note that. So not make it a whole meal, just the protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like the shakes are convenient though. When you can do them, it's just a nice quick snack.
Yeah. The biggest reason is just that women and men actually struggle with protein intake as a whole. Typically, we're only eating 2, maybe 3 meals in a normal day. Most people run out of the house with a cup of coffee and they skip breakfast. So they'll eat lunch and then they work and come home and eat dinner. And so even if those 2 meals were really big, let's say a full meal is 40 to 50 grams of protein, you're still less than 100 grams. And we really need to be a little bit higher, especially if you're supporting breastfeeding, if you're supporting lean muscles so that while you're dieting, you don't get, soft, you try to stay nice and toned. So having protein is just so hard. Having the shake makes it easy. That's all. Not required at all. Oh, speaking of coffee. Yes, go ahead, Taylor.
Good question. Really good question. Speaking of coffee, is it banned during the challenge? No. Coffee is not off the list at all. We are coffee lovers all the way. Say I.
Say I.
In fact, a good cup of coffee is great before a training session.
Yep.
Caffeine will stimulate the central nervous system and prepare you for a great training round. So keep that. It
actually mixes really well with chocolate protein too. So it's one of my favorite things to have in the morning.
The only thing I would say is if it depends to what your go-to coffee is. So say if that is going to be a mocha at the coffee shop, that is going to have quite a bit of calories to it. So if it's just plain drip coffee that's black, adding a little bit of cream and a little bit of sugar or stevia is not an issue at all. So, yeah.
Right. But if sleep is a struggle, if sleep is under the category that needs improvement for you, limit the coffee to before 1 p.m. And I would even say before noon. A lot of people like to have that afternoon cup of coffee as a pick-me-up, but what we've seen from feedback in past challengers and myself, but also past challengers, is that when they cut that out in the afternoon, the first couple days, they still feel, kind of tired. You're used to it. You can even switch to decaf just so that the placebo effect, and decaf does have a little bit of caffeine in it, but you're going to start to see your energy skyrocket from the nutrition. So give your body that opportunity to have that little transition.
Yeah. Belinda's asking about extras like salsa and marinara sauce. One of the things I know is don't limit spices, ladies, of any sort. Like we are all about hashtag don't eat boring food. So this is not meant to be boring. Definitely season your vegetables, your meats, whatever you like to do. Sauces, I would caution on depending on what's in them. Salsa's probably just fine. I even do ketchup, a tablespoon or so of ketchup if I want it on certain things, mustard, whatever. Don't think a lot about it. marinara sauces, it depends, is there cheese in it, all that sort of thing. Those calories, do add up, depending on the type of sauce it is. Now, if you were going to just cut up a couple of Roma tomatoes, some oregano, rosemary, whatever, and saute those down into a nice little sauce, I mean, to me, that's a vegetable.
Right.
Yep.
When it's processed food and you're getting it out of a jar, there can be quite a bit of sugar content in it and all kinds of other things. So just be mindful about what it is. Kayla, do you have any comments on that?
I would say between 1 and 3 tablespoons, which is a fourth a cup or less of pretty much any sauces. So that can go from spaghetti sauce, which is going to be a little bit higher on the sugar side, even if it is straight tomatoes, which is totally fine, or to your dressings. And so for your dressings and your salad dressings, look out for the oils and the additional sugars that can be in your dressings, and try to stick more to the vinegars, and then to the seasonings. Really get into your seasonings and decide what your palate likes. It can also be really fun to kind of see, what is it in this sauce that I like? What's the seasoning that's in this? Find the seasoning rather than the sauce, or use a marinade rather than a sauce on top. Because a marinade and then you cook it is totally fine. It's null and void. But yeah.
Speaking of that too, with seasonings, Kayla Taylor, salt is another question that comes up. Should I not use salt, or should I use salt? And we encourage just to salt like normal. Sodium is an important part of water, healthy water balance and hydration. So definitely, if you enjoy some salt,
use. So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, your muscles, your cells actually can't use the glucose from a carbohydrate molecule without sodium. And most of the time, if you're eating out, that food is really high in sodium. When you're cooking all of your food, it's really important to make sure you use sodium so that you get enough. A lot of people that transition from eating out to cooking all their food, that really quick balance, their body will then retain a lot of water because their sodium just totally went into the tank. And then they don't really feel good, but they don't know why. So having sodium in all of your food not only tastes better, but it actually allows your body to function better.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome, guys.
Ladies, any other questions tonight? We're really excited to have you in the challenge. It's going to be a fun week.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
have one more question.
Elisa, I have one more question. I've not read the guide yet, but what is the recommended water intake? There is actually no water intake suggestion in this guide, but we want you to stay hydrated. So drink as you see fit. Inside the Transformation Blueprint, there is a lot more specific guidelines and things like that, and it really just goes along with don't change too much at once. So if you know that you need to be drinking water, drink more. But if you feel well hydrated right now, then that's fine. Depending on who adds exercise and who doesn't will also change whether or not you need to have more water. So somewhere between 2 and 4 liters is a rough estimate. If you're exercising, I'd say higher than that. If you're choosing not to exercise, then you might be able to get away with lower. I like to push the limit on hydration because I've never seen it negatively impact anyone's physique or anyone's appetite or anything, their skin, hair, nails. It's always wonderful. So use your judgment. This week is going to be a lot about biofeedback. It's going to be a lot about what you feel differently, chatting about this in the Facebook group. So drink your water, typically between your meals, not necessarily while you're eating. Enjoy your food while you're eating, and then drink when you're not eating. And that'll also help curb your appetite in case you're starting to get hungry too.
Yeah. I would say pay attention to your urine too. Look what your pee looks like, or watch what your pee looks like, just because that's going to be a big indicator too with how hydrated you are. So if it's a little more yellow, it's a clear indicator that you will need more water. And if it's pretty clear and we should be good. Yeah.
Good point. Cool. All right. Well, if that's it, then we will wrap this up. Any other questions, please just post them in the Facebook group. We're definitely going to be there. We're so excited.
Yes. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yes.
Fun. Alrighty,
We're
we'll wrap it
to
up
it.
tonight. And Happy New Year, y'all. What a great way to start the new year.
Yes, looking forward to this week.
All right, good night.